Hello, my beautiful light beings. My name is Melissa, and this is a Good Vibrations podcast, the show where I interview incredible people that give us a glimpse of stepping into their power and other conscious conversations on spirituality, self development, and so much more. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my Good Vibrations podcast. So, I'm so happy to start this journey in starting my podcast and interviewing beautiful individuals like I am today. So, I just feel so inspired to put the voice of people that are doing great, amazing things, and myself included as well. And I would love for you guys to get to meet my friend Taleuh today. So me and Taleuh met not too long ago, and I just fell in love with her art. I love like just the person that she is, and like you guys are gonna get to hear more from her story and what inspires her to continue doing her art and all these beautiful things. So this is Taleuh. Welcome, Taleuh. If you would like to introduce yourself a little bit, just like tell us like who you are and what you do and stuff like that.
Hello. My name is Taleuh. I go by Chaleuh. That is my artist name. But I am a format elemented artist, which for me means I paint digitally, I paint physically, um, I animate, and I also do music. So I don't really ever accentuate the music part, but y'all will be hearing from that soon, very, very soon. So stay tuned. But
Nice to meet you. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, girl. Like just like from what I've seen from knowing you, like there's like layers and layers to you, girl. Like I love the uniqueness of your art, just like your music too. When you were talking about that before, I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, so what a better way to start this podcast journey with such an amazing, beautiful soul like you. Thank you for being here today, girl. Just like talking about art in general, I would love to know, how did you even get started in doing art and continuing doing art?
honestly, I've always drawn as a kid. My mom, she would always get back. She'd buy me something, and I would always just doodle on it, and like do something on it. So I always drew as a kid, as far back as I can remember. But what really lit my flame was my older brother Eddie. He one day came home, and I was already kind of sketching and like trying to do portraits of myself. I started going to an art class in the summer in high school, probably sophomore year. And yeah, so I did that, and I realized that I had a lot more to offer. Like there was a lot more growing in that. And the teacher was actually, impressed and kind of had me do my own thing throughout the whole summer while everyone else was doing other projects. And it was crazy because it was like I've never had a class or anything like that before, so that kind of like lit a spark.
Yeah.
And then I was pushing through there from there, and then my brother Eddie came home with just a bunch of old art supplies. He was working for somebody that was a painter, I think, and he was cleaning out his studio or something and just getting rid of all his stuff. And he literally came home with just a bunch of paints and brushes and just a bunch of stuff, literally like a huge heart like starter kit. And a lot of the paint was used, but
Yeah.
I didn't care because it was really good paint. And it was just like, it was just stuff, I didn't have this stuff. So that lit a flame that just ignited something in me that just I had never felt before. So I started painting from there, you know, um, so also speaking to myself better, because I remember telling myself, you'll never be able to draw yourself. You'll never be able to do a portrait of yourself. And I don't know why I told myself this, but that was something that I continuously told myself. And then when I started using the equipment and painting more, I started to tell myself, I think you can do this, like if you went to an art class and you literally stomped out the curriculum, like who's to say you can't, draw yourself? So
Yeah.
I went from there. So literally, I don't know. It was just forces. The spirit
Right.
helped, guided me to do what I was called to do, and I just listened, really.
Wow, that's amazing. Like as you were saying about like how your brother just came home one day, and then like you just going to school one day, and then you discover like this passion for art, and then just like how this paint just in a way landed on your lap. It's
Right.
so crazy to like really connect like how God and the universe really aligns us to our purpose, and like I see how passionate you are, and I can truly, truly say like that this is something that really lights you on fire just by like hearing the way you talk about it. I'm like, yes, like we need to really encourage each other to do more of those things that like we love, and not
Yes.
just like art, but just like anything in specific, it could be so different for everybody. So thank you for sharing like your purpose. Like I think it's so beautiful that you are so passionate about this, and I don't know. I'm so grateful to meet you too, girl. Like I see the world in like such a different way now. Like when I hear you talk about this, I'm like, oh my God, yes, yes.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, every day there's self doubt. Every day there's something that's trying to push you down and also trying to pull you up. And
Mm.
people like you is what really keeps you going. Conversations like this is what really keeps my confidence and reminds me why I'm here and pushes me to keep going. So I appreciate that.
Aw, thank you, boo. And likewise, likewise. Conversations with you are so easy, so I love it. Hey, we vibing out here.
Let's go.
Yeah, so like I know that obviously it's very important to you art, like with all the things that you do, but why exactly is art important to you? Like can you tap in a little bit into your journey like and what art has done for you?
Yeah. Honestly, initially it's a selfish thing. I'm gonna admit that right now. But it's good. It's good to be selfish. It's an outlet for me for the most part. It's an outlet to express myself and to really release some emotions that I don't even know how to navigate. Like for an example, if I started painting and I start that painting feeling something and I finish that painting, I can genuinely look at it and then describe what I'm feeling. Like I really won't know what I'm feeling until I finish that piece and I'm like, "Oh, that's what I feel right now. That's what I'm going through. Like this makes so much more sense." And some people can just intellectually know, like, "Oh, I'm going through this," and but sometimes I can't navigate that. It's just so complex, or just it's just something that I can feel it, but I can't identify it. So it helps me identify my path and kind of know what I need to do from there. Like it helps me move forward, and also not only from the perspective of self, but seeing my art through the perspective of other people is also what helps me. But other than helping me, it helps others as well, and seeing that is probably better than what it does for me, because if I can help other people with my art and they can relate to the feelings that I'm reflecting on my artwork, and they can actually identify it or even identify it as something else, but it just relates to them, period, that is what that does for me. That's what my art does for me as well. Like that feeling that other people get, that it's just that justification. Like I'm a being that really feels misunderstood a lot of the time. So if people can see my art and they feel understood, I'm just like, yes, yes, feel that. As whatever connects me with other people and creates us as one, that is everything to me. And I feel like my art does that in a way. It does that for me to feel whole, and then it does it for other people to be connected with them as well, because we're all humans. We're all human beings at the end of the day, and if you can connect with me on that level, it's just another connection we're creating. We're creating that fabric, that each thread that we mend together creates that rug, whatever.
Yes.
Like it's just one whole piece that is just love. And so that's really what it does for me. At the end of the day, it's love. It helps me project it and it helps me get it.
Wow, that's such a beautiful like just the way you explained it and how it just connects to love and connection, because like at the end of the day we're all human and we want to feel connected, and it's going to be different for everybody, like it's not going to be the same. So the fact that not just like you have particular individuals that will connect to the art better, but just like the fact that you can even broaden people's perspectives on like how they can connect in a creative way. Like I think that's such a beautiful like way of thinking about it. And like, girl, I got the chills when you said that, like how it connects you to like expressing yourself, and then like it connects people to connecting with you, and then overall them expressing themselves as well. It's like an overall universal just like way to like tap into that the beauty of like the way your mind works, like with like the colors, I'm sure, like like your animations and everything that you do. So I can definitely feel that. I know that like also too when we talked about like how art has been healing and like how it's expanded you and stuff like that. And I just thought it was so beautiful, your perspective. How has it been like healing and how has it expanded you, like doing art?
Just the other day, I was talking about somebody had asked me, he said, "What is home to you?" And that is a deep question for me, for people that don't know me and know what I've been through. Home has been a very heavy topic for me because I've always moved around
Mm,
and I've never really seen a physical place as a home. But all along, home was my art. Home was things that I create because it's a piece of me. I've always found home in other people that I love,
mm,
family, my significant other. That's home for sure. That's home. But I also have home with me in my closet. I have home right here. You know what I mean? Like my art pieces are a little piece of me in different forms and different phases. And having that with me is literally carrying my home. And so that was healing for me. Like creating my artwork is very healing for me because it just like I said earlier, it literally releases things that I'm not able to navigate.
mm,
And so that heals me for literally things that I've gone through, past trauma or present trauma.
mhm,
Things that I'm going through now, things that I'm carrying from before, and things that I've recently, started to carry. So it's like it really helps me disintegrate those bags that I'm carrying, that I'm trying to lift with me through everything. Like creating really helps me just release. Sometimes I'll have these layers over myself, and we create these every day because it's just shields that help that protect ourselves. But it's so easy to put those things up, to put the layers up. It's so hard to break them down.
mm,
And when I feel like those layers are starting to become heavy on me, I start to create, and that's what really helps that melt down, helps that really disintegrate, like setting up my vibe before I get into it, that whole premeditation before I start creating, after I've created, during creation, like it's all of that is just completely healing to me. It heals everything. Like that past trauma is what we all carry, and generational trauma, like that
mm,
is the deepest one for me. And my art does that for me. For me, a female empowerment is huge because I've grown up in a family of females, and
mm,
we've all been hurt, and we've all grown to know that life's painful, and living with someone or joining a life with someone else can be very painful if they hurt you or just if anything. So seeing our family go through that, and the women that I've grown up with go through that, and them carrying that themselves and carrying the things that happened for them, and like instilling that in us or trying to, um has really put something in my heart to create that type of work as well. When I started everything and I started showing my art, women empowerment was the main topic in my work because I thought it was so important to install that in women. Like for them to know you are important and you have your own, you have your own mind, you know, like you have your own opinions and you can do whatever you want and move forward from wherever you've been, because I've seen it. You know what I mean? So that was really healing for me, and I feel like that was really healing for a lot of other women, because like I said, you can make a decision, and people take trauma and they carry it with them, and they make that decision to carry it with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes my art can reflect that and can help you realize that you don't need to carry any of that. And so each painting or each thing that I create, I feel like it gives off a message in a way, and it helps, or I hope to help disintegrate those past traumas and just work on generational traumas, and just like have people know, just inform people that you're able to heal through this type of art. And that's really how I see my artwork as. It's not just a paycheck, or it's not just something to make money off of. Like, it's to heal you, and to hopefully make a difference. You know, like if you hang it up and it gives you that reminder, like, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Like, that's what's most important to me. The fact that a piece of art that I make will help you grow and will help you get through stuff. Like, so that's how it heals. That's how it heals me. So I hope to, give that to other people.
Like the way you're explaining it, just like how it heals you, and how like just people connecting to the emotion, and like even like the colors, and like the way you form things, and like your art, how people can connect with that on an emotional level. And like, how you said, like even giving off that message, like, yeah, you can do it. Like somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps, like they can do it as well, like. And it all really just takes like that inner belief in yourself, and that decision to say, like, you know what, I want to step forward and heal myself. I want to step forward and do this thing that I love. Like if that person is doing that thing that they love and they do it so well, then I can so very much well do the same thing for whatever I want to do as well. Like I think it really takes like we don't have to do like the same things, but it just like seeing people's efforts and seeing like how people pour love onto the things that they do. I feel like it's so empowering, and you see that. You see like when people are being genuine. You see when people have like a passion and a fire within them, like when they're doing certain things, like how I tell you too, like I love just like connecting with people, I love helping people. And like, you could see that, like I've seen that with so many other people that I connect with that do similar things as me. And it's like, it makes you believe a little bit more in yourself. You're like, okay, like I can do this. Like, let me figure it out. So hopefully this even inspires people to find out what they want to do, with their own lives, like with their purpose. And, like it can be anything, like really,
It really, yeah. People always come up to me, or if I'm talking to someone about my painting and stuff, that I feel like a lot of people that don't create or that don't paint or anything like that, at the end of what I'm saying, or really when there's like a break, when they're about to speak, the one thing that I hear the most is, oh, I wish I can paint. And I'm just like, man, that makes me so sad, because you can. Like,
yeah.
Just because you can't paint on my level does not mean that you cannot paint, and you can't use that as an outlet as well, because you can literally splash paint on something and feel something. You know what I mean? Like, that will give you something, and people don't understand it until they do it. And I don't know what it is about painting that makes people feel so, I don't know, just they don't feel inclined to do it. It feels like so much to do when it's literally just grab a go get some canvas, go to Ross, they got a pack for like $5, I bet. And they got brushes. And you can go to Walmart and get some paint for like $1. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to get. Even if you can't get paint and all that, like, you can find a piece of paper, and you can find a pen, you can find a pencil, and just literally, but it's not something that people think, because they think, in order to have these utensils, I have to know what I'm doing. I have to know how to use these things. And that's never the case. And every time someone tells me that, I try to instill that. And sometimes I didn't know what to say. because it's like, well, damn, like, I don't want to make you feel bad that you can't do it on my level, but at the same time, like, I wish I had the answer that I have now, because it's like, you really don't know what you can do until you do it, you know? And some, like, an aunt of mine, she just started painting, like, not too long ago, like a year ago, and she's amazing. Like, I think she went to like a sip and paint once, and from there she was like, I love this shit. And she just kept going. And when she started describing it, I was like, that's exactly how I feel. When you start painting, she was like, everything around me goes away, and it's just me and the paint and the canvas, and that's it. She's amazing at it. Not to say that, like, if you're gonna pick something up, you're gonna be amazing on
Yeah.
it. But try it. Try what, like, feel what it makes you feel. See what it makes you feel. See what happens. Be spontaneous. And I think that's what gets in the way for some people. Like, when you do things like this, it's like it's just letting go, and it's hard for people to let go. Even me, like, even starting a painting, like, I'll look at the canvas and I'm just like, okay, so, like, if I don't rev myself up, if I don't set myself up, because now I know what to do. Now I know, like, I gotta light a few candles, I gotta put some music on,
The vibe on.
yeah, like, get comfortable. Now I know what to do to set myself up. But if you don't start, you won't know that. You won't know what to do to get yourself going and to be comfortable with that. So that's one of my messages as well, for the people that are watching, for the people that are listening. If you think that same thing that I told you, that they say after the conversation, like, I wish I can do that, don't say that. Don't say that anymore. Just try it. Don't be afraid. Just try it.
I know. And like, something that you said right now really reminded me, just like not just like speaking about art, but honestly just like how people's like limiting thoughts really gets in the way of them even starting. And like, I'm not gonna lie too, I've been there where I'm like, oh, like, I need to know all the tools, I need to be very well, like, educated in this, I need to have my experience for me to actually start. And like, it's so funny because I was actually listening to this audiobook like not long ago before we got on this podcast, and like, she literally mentioned like something about we think we're unworthy of like doing certain things because like we don't have the knowledge that this other person has, and they've had like years of experience probably, like they've probably like they have had education, maybe they haven't, but like that doesn't really take away from your experience and how you can really pour onto that and like what you can make out of it as well. So it's really about like how we limit ourselves and how much we're willing to believe in ourselves to really like do it in general. How do we know if we don't try? You
Right.
know?
Exactly. How do we gain that experience if we don't try to have that experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly that's exactly what I feel like. And I was like, even after I started doing what I do, it took me a while to get rid of that fear, because we're just used to that. We're in a world where we're taught to be fearful in every single section of our life, every portion, or everything that we do, we're taught to be fearful in it. And that's why one of the sayings that I go by almost every day is walk in love and not fear. Anything that isn't love is fear. If you're angry, you're being fearful of something, or that's just what I believe. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it took me a while to get rid of that fear. And honestly, the one thing that got rid of that fear for me for painting was Bob Ross. I started watching Bob Ross because I just loved the way he spoke. Like, he's so calming, and just, yeah,
Yes.
watching him paint. If you guys haven't seen him paint, he's on Netflix. There's like episodes of him painting, and I started painting with him. And there's a lot of things that he says that just like engrave in your brain. Like, he says, there's one thing that I took with me, and I will forever will. But he says, it's a famous quote too. There are no mistakes. It's happy accidents. And so when you're fearful of starting something, you're fearful because you're scared to mess up. You're scared to make a mistake. But in painting and anything that you do, there are no mistakes. If you make a mistake, you're learning from that. At the end of the day, you're learning from whatever mistakes you make. So mistakes are good. Mistakes are something that helps you gain that experience, helps you get better. And so the more that I listened to him, and the more that I worked through that, the less I was fearful of starting a painting. Because before I was like, I don't want to start this, and then start to hate it. You know what I mean? If I start to hate it, I'll paint over it. That's really the outcome of the whole thing. Like, what are you scared of, really? Like, sit with yourself and ask yourself, what are you scared of to start this? And then really like pinpointing those things, you're just like, wow, I'm scared of that, but that can be fixed. And even if I mess up with it, like, I'm going to learn from it anyway and know not to do it again. So what am I really scared of? You know?
Yeah.
So that really helped me out. So thanks to Bob Ross, like, I started saying like nothing.
Yeah, and then you like once you like get over your own fear of whatever you've been holding back on doing, like, and you actually do it, you realize that it wasn't even that hard to begin with, you know, like the hardest step is actually starting. Like that's really the hardest step because we're going to fail regardless, you know, we're going to mess up. Like even the most talented person, even like, you know, like the most famous person, they mess up, you know, but they're so good at what they do because they're willing to mess up, they're willing to fail to get to their destination. And that's something that we should remember, you know, like we should remember that the path is not easy. Is it like just imagine if we were to always take the easy road all the time. Just imagine how like we wouldn't grow and how limited our world would be, you know, like it really takes people like, you know, like for example, like you and like just anyone in general that has started something and that was once scared or whatever, had like some type of limiting belief or even just like just starting in general, you know, like not having no second thoughts and just doing it. And even if like let's say you have those second thoughts for a long time or you know it does take you a while to do it, like I think the main focus and the main thing you should celebrate is the fact that you even started in the first place. You know,
Right.
like, I think that alone is so powerful. So right now for all of our listeners, if you're in a place that you feel like stuck or like you're in fear to start anything, you know, like really take the example from Taleuh. You know, she didn't know where this is gonna take her. You know, I'm sure at one point you didn't know, like you had the paint presented to you and you're like, okay, you know, and then it just became something slowly but surely. And like now look at her, she's doing amazing at all the things that she does. Like she created a purpose behind it. And you know, like everyone is gonna have some type of fear at one point in their life, and that's okay. We're human, you know, we're human, it's gonna happen. But just start. That's all you really need to do. Like that's the hardest step, and once you do, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so glad I started. Like you save yourself so much time, like you know what I mean. Like I mean, but it does happen. It really does, and that's okay too. So
Yeah, even till this day, you know. I mean, I just said like it's so easy for you to start painting, and it is. It's a lot easier before, but even sometimes, like when I'm at that artistic block, like it'll be hard for me to like I said, melt off all of those layers. But as soon as you start, you won't regret starting, you know, and that's the best part because after that, it just flows, and you appreciate what comes after that. But yeah, best part, start.
yes, start 100%. So like just with now just hearing you, I understand like more your perspective and like you know the artist perspective and everything. Well, what is something that you feel like people have like a bad perception when it comes to like artists and art?
That's a good question. I think like I have two answers for that. One would be that people don't see it as a real job. People don't see it as a real like lifestyle. Um, People really see it as something just the easy way to go, you know. And I really want to disintegrate that stereotype because going with what you're here to do or following that path that you feel that the spirit is guiding you to do is the hardest thing. I mean, initially it's the hardest thing because you got to realize to do it. But while you're doing it, it becomes easier because it becomes natural. But going along with that is just right away when you start to do something that you want or you feel just feel so natural in doing something, there's always going to be people that are telling you that you shouldn't do it, and there's always going to be people that are telling you that are that's a bad choice because there's no money in it, or there's just the stereotypes of what an artist is. And even people that I went to school with, because I went to college at the Art Institute for about 4 years. And honestly, most of the people there were just there for an easier ride. They were there either because they were an artist and they wanted to learn more, or it was like, this was the easier way to go. I'm not trying to be a lawyer, or I'm not trying to like put more work into what I want to do for a degree, so I guess I'll do this. You know what I mean? So even for the people that are in the fields, like some of the people just want to make money. Like some people see it as money, they do, and that's all they see it as. So there's that perspective as well. Like even the people that are in the industry as the artists, like some people just are in it for what it is. So that's one of the bad views that people would put on an artist. Like even when I decided to become an artist, it was like, okay, even my mom was like, okay, so like, when are you gonna get a real job? Like, and of course I have 9 to 5s and stuff, but like, so is that what you're gonna do? Like, and some people don't like literally say that, but you can feel it. But yeah, the more that she saw my light, it was like, okay. And then she'd always feed me as an individual and a creative. She always fed that. But I think in the back of her mind sometimes it was like, are you gonna make a steady income off that though? Like, and I can't blame that as well, because it's like we live in a world that is based off of money, and it's based off of financial stability. So it's like you have to really put faith in it and put the work in it and just know mentally, like, this is going to feed me one day, because this is what I'm here to do. But some people don't trust that because they're not in it. And I've learned to just kind of understand that because they're not in it. The one perspective was how people see it as not a real job. And then the other perspective is, seeing other artists as competition. That's one perspective that I've found to be a negative, because even me as an artist starting off, it was like, when I went to school, it was like, when you get out of school, you're being put into the world of artists. Like, that's it. You have all this competition and you have to be different. You have to be, above everyone else, and you have to stick out and stand out throughout all the artists. And although like you do have to stand out, it's not necessarily in a way that you have to do that purposely, or forcefully. If you're yourself, if you're your own being, you're going to stand out in your own individual way, yes. But as the industry teaches you, it's like you need to force that. And so I feel like some artists have this perception of they have to be greater than other artists, and so they see everyone else's competition rather than a communal type thing. Like, now, before, I used to see other people as competition, and that would beat me down mentally. Like, man, I'm not this good. Why am I even doing this? You know what I mean? Like, their art is so much better than mine, and like, I would get self-conscious. Like, man, I don't, like, it would just beat me up. I'd let it get to me. But as soon as I changed my perspective as an artist, like, this is my brother and this is my sister. They have their style, and they're working with that, you know what I mean? And I love their style and I love my style. And it's cool because we're different and we're both great. Like all artists are great, I believe. And so as soon as you have that perspective, the competition goes away, and you're no longer pushing yourself to be something that you don't need to push, that you don't need to force. So that's the other perspective that I believe was negative as an artist, and like trying to just mold myself as an artist as well. Like, so it's like from the outside world and from the inside world of being an artist. Like those are the two negatives.
I like how you gave like both of the perspectives, like the outside and the negative. I wasn't even like thinking about that, but yeah, like it can be like I guess like I compare it to like people in like their own fields, you know, and like people want to stand out, you know, people want to like I guess be better and stuff like that, you know, for whatever that is, the financial gain, like the recognition, whatever that is. But yeah, like you're right, like it can be both ways, you know, and like you see the other side too, you know, you're like, oh, like I've been there at one point, you know, like I know how that feels, and I, you know, you notice that that wasn't you, so like
Right.
yeah, definitely, because you can see like and feel the just how genuine people are, like I'm sure with the art, like people's energy and stuff like that, you know. So but what I love about you is that like I like your artist name. Like first of all, Chaleuh. Like so unique, it's so beautiful, and I like how it like matches with your like name as well. So like would you be able to explain a little bit about like how you came up with your like artist name or how it came about, Chaleuh? Because I feel like it's so unique. Like how did that come about?
Um, Man, I have a lot of doubts about going with Chaleuh because one, it's people can't pronounce it, and it's kind of like it gives people an obstacle sometimes. But that's kind of like my own name, you know. Talia is, it becomes hard for people. It's always been hard for substitutes. People always, you know, create their own thing. Like they like to put in extra letters and take out letters and do what they want with my name. And for a while, I was like, even now, I'm like, they want to call me that. Okay, whatever. But Chaleuh came about because my uncle, he when I was little, he actually called me Chaleuh. And I don't know if somebody tried to say Talia and they said Chaleuh on accident. I really don't remember how that came about. If I tried to say it that way, I don't know. But he would call me Chaleuh, and he'd do like a little ring chart, like a little ring to it, and he'd call me and be like, Chaleuh, Chaleuh. If I have any family members watching this, they'll know. Like that was the little thing. And that's one thing that I've always carried with me, and I thought it was cute. And so I was thinking, you know, like I should use a family nickname for myself to keep myself grounded. So that was initially why I used Chaleuh, because I feel like if I use something that has been with me since as far back as I can remember, I'll always be grounded. I can always go back, and if I see my name somewhere, like this is where it came from, you know, it will always resonate to my roots. So that was one of the reasons why I went with Chaleuh. And that's actually, no, not the main reason why I went with Chaleuh. And the doubts that came with it were just like the spelling and like the way it's pronounced. Like sometimes, like a lot of people in the beginning when I started using it, a lot of people were like, Chaleuh, like Chalula, like how do I say this? And I'm like, Chaleuh, Chaleuh. And then I turn back and be like, fuck, man, maybe I shouldn't use this name. It's so hard for people to say. And like, they don't know how to spell it. And it sounds just like my name. Like, what's the point? Like, there was so many doubts from using Chaleuh. But at the end of the day, like the initial reason, you can't take that away. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how many doubts that I get, I can't be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to use a childhood nickname. Why not? Like, that's me. So I kept it. And it, yeah, it is so much similar like Talia, but I'd rather use Chaleuh because it's more me. You know, I feel like it's more me. Talia is great. I could have just used my name. Like, it's cool. I like my name. It's different. But yeah, I think Chaleuh, like I said, is a lot more connected to my roots. Not that my name isn't, but at the same time, I just feel like a nickname is just it's like more, it connects you more with my childhood. So
Mm.
right away, you're already connected with me deeper than you usually would be. You know me as a nickname that I've had since I was a kid. So it's like friends that call you something
Mm.
your whole life, like they have that connection with you. So if I just meet you and you call me my childhood nickname, it's like we kind of have that deep connection already, in a sense, you know what I mean? If that makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, that's how I used to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. Like, and I love that you connected it with like making yourself feel grounded. And because at the end of the day, like I feel like feeling grounded and being grounded, it like in the sense like it reminds you too like of your why, like like why you even started this, like your purpose in this as well. So that's so beautiful, and I love how like that little nickname really became just like a part of you, like a part of like connecting to your childhood and your uncle and stuff like that. So thank you for sharing that. That's really nice. I like that. I wanted to ask you, like, who is somebody that inspires you?
Mm. There are so many people that inspire me on a different basis. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
every day is somebody different. But man, I'd have to say that my significant other inspires me a lot. And I'm not trying to be corny or nothing. But
I was gonna say, oh.
right. His name's Avery. But like he inspires me a lot. Like he pushes me, and just like your type of personality, like he has a very structured personality. And I think I've told you this before. Like I'm a very like free bird, and I love to
And
just
I
like
love that. I love that.
yeah, I just like flow with things. But I also need to be grounded, which is why I chose Chaleuh. Like I constantly need that, and he's that for me. But he's also like we've grown together as artists. We met at school, and just like growing together and growing through that is a huge inspiration for me. Like he constantly reminds me where I've come from as an artist, where how I used to think, because sometimes I'll forget how much I've elevated, and so I'll sit there and be like, man, like still now I'm like, oh, I need to be better. But he's like, girl, relax. Like you've come so far. And just like honestly, sometimes he says random things and he randomly tells me how good I am and how much I've come and how much I inspire him, and just like bouncing off of that, and just, taking away that he's my boyfriend, taking away everything else, as a that you would stereotypically think of, when I tell you my boyfriend. He's my best friend, and just growing with him as an artist and learning things with him is so inspiring because it constantly keeps me updating and going and getting my wheels spinning and learning new things off of him. He learns new things off of me. So that's a constant inspiration for me. If I had to pick it out of so many people that inspire me, because he's not the only one, but he is the biggest one, the biggest inspiration, because he's not only inspiring me through what he does, but he's also inspiring me by reminding me what I do, and what I do for other people, what I do for him. And it's good to have that reflection. It's good to be reminded, because you can be your own inspiration at that point. So I get that a lot. I get that a lot from him, and all, family members as well.
Yeah.
Family members are always inspiring. Future Soul, mega inspiring. If you guys don't know who Future Soul is, I'm one of the original artists from them, and they are amazing musical platform, and they just promote musicians, upcoming musicians. And yeah, they're inspiring. Just having regular conversations, just chilling with them, they inspire me all the time. Like we'll speak of things that just are so intellectual and are constantly feeding my soul. And it's the same for them. We'll say things, and honestly, most of the time when I'm having conversations with them, lyrics are forming in my head, and things like
Yay.
ideas to paint and things always form in my head when I'm hanging out with them. Like also with you, just like people that I can talk with like this and have intellectual conversation, and yeah, just to continue to grow with like that is what inspires me. Another thing, I know you asked me just one person, but another thing that also inspires me are my nieces and nephews. The smallest people can be the biggest, can be the biggest inspirations in your life because you see drives that they have. For example, my nephew Bradley, he's just so bright, 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 and he's so intelligent, and he knows what he wants. He's an artist as well. He likes to draw, and he's so good at it. But he likes music too. He likes to make little music, but he like creates little beats and stuff, and it's just so inspiring seeing little people so little with such fire. Like I love it. And so I live with him, and seeing that daily, seeing him, just light up like that, it reminds me to be like that, to connect with my inner child and be raw like that, connect with myself that way. If something initially makes me feel something, to go for it like that and not be so scared. Kids are so they're so awesome. They have no fear.
I know, I feel you. I feel like my little cousins, like, and my little nephews, they inspire me so much. It's like, it's a good reminder, to like really tap in with our inner child and our inner curiosities, because I feel like we, at one point in our life, like we start thinking like, oh, like, we're a certain age, so now we have to grow up, and now we have to, you know, um, like stop playing and stop, like, being curious or whatever that is. And that's something actually that I've been really tapping into lately, like back into, because like I feel like it's important, it's important to play, it's important to like, and also to like children, they're so like honest, they're so like, just like they haven't been fully influenced yet by the world around them, so like they really see and like enact like by their own like opinions, and like what their heart is like really telling them to do. So I love that answer. Like I'm gonna second you on that one too. Like I would say that like my little nephews, my little cousins, like inspire me so much. Like I'm not around them as much, but like every time I do, like I try to just like take it all in, because I'm like,
Yeah, they're the biggest teachers too.
yeah.
Like little things, you're just like, wow, okay.
Hopefully this helps influence people to want to play, to want to like be more curious and open to life, and
Yes.
have a different way of thinking about life, like with art and stuff like that. But thank you so much, girl. I had so much fun talking to you. I hope that our audience learned something. I know I did. I always do from you. And like before we go ahead and like jump off, I would love for you to just like tell us about your platforms where people can see your art, just see like you in general, and like, is there anything upcoming that you're working on that you would like to like shout out and talk about?
Oh man, so much, so much. This quarantine has kept me busy, let me tell you. But one of the things out of the many that I'm working on that is coming really, really soon, February 19th, actually, I will be dropping my merch line. So,
Exciting.
before that, I actually have a catalog that I'll be dropping to show you the products that I'll be dropping on February 19th. I believe that's going to be the week before. But I will be dropping that, and so you'll have a view and an insight on what I'm gonna be showing you guys and what I'm gonna be offering you. Um, but I'll have the catalog to show you what I'll be offering you, and then I'll also drop a promo video a week after that. So, and when I do drop that promo video, my merch will be available. So hopefully, you guys, you can cop a hoodie, phone case. I'll be offering pouches, tote bags, shirts. I have some sweats on there, some tights. Like, there's
Hey,
gonna be a lot of stuff. So I
uh,
also got some pillows, some mugs. I don't know if you guys follow me, but if you do, you know that I do this thing called Tea for a G, where I make tea and I kind of write something really encouraging for the day. But yeah, my mugs will say Tea for a G on them, so I'll have my little mug collection on there. So I'm dropping that February 19th. February 19th. February 19th.
hey.
And beside that, you know, I sell prints on my Etsy shop. That's going to be in the link in my bio if you go to my Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I'm also working on some music, so just keep an
Hey,
eye out. Just keep
I
an
can't
eye
wait to hear
out.
that.
Yeah, I got some things coming. I'm working on a lot right now, but I'm mainly focusing on this merch. I really just love the way everything's coming out. I'm so excited for you guys to see. So yeah, peep for February 19th, and I'll see you guys. Hopefully, you know, see you guys rocking my stuff.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, yes, guys. So watch out for February 19th, and she's gonna be also. I'm actually gonna be putting all her information below, like on where you can reach her on her socials and follow her, connect with her. Just like check out her journey and see everything that she's doing because, like, trust, like this is just a beginning for her. Like this is the journey, you know. Like we haven't reached no destination. Like for everyone too, you know. Like it's a journey. So I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for sharing, Boo. But I hope you guys are having a great night, whoever's listening to this. And thank you for being here again once more, girl.
Thank you guys. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.